A very good evening to one and all present here. I am Anand Kumar. I am going to be your host and the moderator for today's session. On behalf of my team, AP Legal Chambers, and on my personal behalf, I welcome you all to today's webinar. I wholeheartedly welcome our special guest for the special speaker for the day, Ms. Ambika Nair ji, and she is a registered dietitian, certified diabetic educator, and corporate nutritionist. This is our 19th webinar of the series. I welcome all the participants for this webinar. This is going to be a very special webinar, and this is not a regular type of a webinar. This is a special webinar where we will be unlocking the diet goals for the professionals. Eat healthy and stay fit. So this webinar, we will be covering what to eat, how to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat. So I welcome all the participants for today's program. For those who are attending our webinars regularly, you might be knowing us. For those who have come here for the first time, we are Team AP Legal Chambers, a new age law firm in Delhi NCR with a branch office in Chennai. Things started to fall in place in 2017, and from then we are trying to resolve the legal issues of our clients to the best of our abilities. We specialize in domestic and international taxation, IPRs, energy law, constitutional laws, criminal laws, corporate compliance, arbitration, and commercial advisory. So we started organizing these webinars out of our passion for law. And due to the tremendous response from the participants, we have been organizing these webinars on every Thursdays and Sundays. In today's webinar, our main focus will be setting the diet goals in a proper way. So at the outset, I would like to tell all our participants to kindly mute the audios from your end, and if possible, disable the videos too. So once the presentation of our special speaker gets over, the APLC's APLC and the question answer session would follow. So if you are having any questions to ask our special speaker, you can kindly leave them in the chat box, and if time permits, all your questions will be answered by her. So we have prepared a few questions from our end, and we will be asking it on your behalf, and we are sure this will be both informative and interesting. So let me introduce our special speaker for today, Ms. Ambika Nair ji. She is a registered dietitian, certified diabetic educator, corporate nutritionist, academician, and certified NLP coach, REBT, and EFT practitioner with 26 plus years of hands-on experience. She holds the following positions. She is the director of My Nutritional Needs, a nutrition consultancy services in Pune, and she is a clinical nutritionist in the Jupiter Hospital, Pune. She is a co-convener of the Indian Diabetic Association, Pune chapter, and she is the corporate nutritionist of the Zorian Solutions, GSK, and Nugenix. She is also the HOD of nutrition of the DES College of Nursing, Ferguson College from 2007 till date. She is a certified NLP coach, RE and CBT, BFT, EFT practitioner in Pune. She also maintains her website mynutritionalneeds.com, where she provides online consulting and also gives the important updates regarding the nutritional needs for individuals. So when we approached her for this webinar, she immediately accepted without any hesitation. She even went on to say what she will be covering in this webinar and how it will be useful for the professionals, particularly for those who are working from home and who are also practicing advocates, doctors, and other various professionals. This has been exclusively planned by her in such a way that this will be beneficial not only for the people during this lockdown, but also for setting up the diet goals for regular practice as well. I wholeheartedly welcome our special speaker for the day. And on behalf of my team AP Legal Chambers, I extend a very pleasant greetings to her. And we also have our regular participants, Ms. Rama Singh from US. I think it is around 9 a.m. in the morning and she has taken time to attend our webinars. I congratulate her and welcome her. And I also, on behalf of my entire team, I welcome all the participants here for this webinar. And without wasting any time further, I hand over the session to our special speaker, Ms. Ambika Nairji, to share her thoughts and also help her in setting the goals during this lockdown and also to unlock the potential diet goals for the professionals. Thank you, and I hand over the session to our special speaker. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anand. So it was a very good introduction. Thank you, all of you, for taking your time and attending today's session. So I was told to talk about unlocking the diet goals for professionals. So I think all of us are professionals and we need to know how to eat right. So many times we always have this reason inside us that we do not have time. It's very difficult to balance work and home balance. And, we keep complaining that, time is the biggest criteria. That's the reason why we are not able to follow the right food habits. Today, I'm just going to unlock all those points which are not going to allow you to eat right. So I want you all to take some small message or some small action plan from today's session. So let's get into the unlocking of the diet goals for professionals. Welcome all. So we all know that food is more than just fuel. It not only nourishes your physical body, but also influences your energy, mind, intellect, emotions, and spirit. So a lot of drastic dietary changes, along with sedentary lifestyle, mental stress, pollution, consumption of tobacco and alcohol, overeating habits, over the last few decades has led to emergence of non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and heart disease, etc. So let me get on to the topic. I was talking about unlocking the diet goals for professionals. So basically, we all know that food is more than just fuel, and it is absolutely necessary for our physical body, spiritual health, mental health, emotional health too. So what are we going to learn today? We are going to understand some important topics which are absolutely needed for professionals. So why is it that we are not able to balance work life and right eating habits? So let's unlock all the goals, and let's see how we are going to follow a healthy lifestyle. Now, if you see the slide, you can understand that there is a huge challenge. On one hand, we have unhealthy food all around us. On the other hand, we have a whole lot of nutrition advices. Can you see the picture of unhealthy foods? These are the so-called junk foods. I don't think I have to explain what they are. The picture itself shows that they are unhealthy. Definitely, there is a cross about it. And there is a load of nutritional advice available in internet. So they are called as fad diets. What are fad diets? Fad diets are nothing but those diets which are a quick fix or a temporary diet. So all of us go into intermittent fasting or keto diet or 3-day diet or high protein diet or General Motors diet. So finally, not knowing even this next set of diet also doesn't work. Now let me now understand what is the next diet going to help me. So therefore, we have a whole lot of nutrition advices, not knowing what to do. On one hand, we have the ancient yogic diet. You can see the yogic diet says you take a lot of fruits, vegetables, dry fruits, sprouts, raw food, milk. And on the other hand, we have thali and we have fast foods. Fast foods, I don't think I have to explain what fast foods are. Fast foods are nothing but which are made very fast and which are available very fast. And they're going to take a lot of time in digestion in the digestive system. So the name fast food is only because they are made fast, and they're going to take a lot of time inside our body. Thali, if you see, it contains at least more than 2,500 to 3,000 calories. This is a present day diet. So what do we do then? In that case, how are we going to eat right when there is so much food around us? Now, there is also this faulty eating habit. Faulty eating habits, rushing. As professionals, we say that we don't have time, so we just, gulp some amount of food, or we stuff it. We carry the food in the car. We start eating when between, meetings. So we don't have time. We just have a timer of 5 minutes. And finally, what do we end up with? We end up with stomach pain, or finally fatigue, and end up, going to sleep within 1 hour or half an hour of eating food. So these kind of things are definitely, we need to contemplate on these kind of things, these kind of habits. So what are the problems faced by professionals? Generally, as professionals, I have heard most of my patients telling me that, I'm in a very busy schedule, so I have a big struggle to adhere to a healthy regime. Definitely, it is real. I don't deny this fact. Eating healthy between managing work and household is a luxury that you cannot afford for. So, what do we do then? Only incentive for following right eating habits are, if you know these incentives, you will find out some way or the other to eat right. So maintaining same energy every day. What if you're going to be like, very energetic whole day? Improve your performance while working. What you eat will have a direct impact on overall health, and it's going to prevent you from diseases. Are these incentives not enough for you to following right eating habits? Definitely yes. So all that you need to do is, am I going to tell you stop the junk, stop all fried food, stop all the unhealthy food? Or am I going to say, no, eat only right food, exercise? Let's see what the answer is. All that you need to do is very simple solution, which is nothing but set a goal. Make smart choices. So what is smart choices? From the acronym SMART, SMART. I think as professionals, all of you must be knowing management techniques where we make smart goals and smart choices. So they are almost the same as far as diet goals are also concerned. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals. This is the simplest solution for you to follow right eating habit. So set a goal. All that we need to do is today to set a goal and find out what we are lacking and what we need to change. So therefore, this statement is relevant for today. Good nutrition pays. Normal nutrition starts from pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescent, adulthood, old age. Also, therapeutic nutrition. This is a very unique field where the diet is given utmost importance. Many of your diseases, cardiovascular diseases, allergies, all these can be prevented if you're following a right diet. Example like diabetes, hypertension, the so-called metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is nothing but complication of any of three of these syndromes: diabetes, obesity, CVD, hypertension. All these constitute the metabolic syndrome. So therefore, we are supposed to be very careful that instead of getting one disease, nowadays, people are getting 3, 4 multiple disorders. So what is the reason behind all this? The reason behind all these are evidence-based facts. I would like to give these evidence-based facts. It's all dependent on your lifestyle and wellness habits. So the first habit, as professionals and as people who really are into health industry, we have found that there are a lot of researches which have proved that more time watching TV is equal to increased risk of obesity and diabetes. If you see the graph, you can see the number of hours per week spent sitting and watching television. As the number of hours increases, the relative risk for getting obesity and type 2 diabetes increases. Similarly, when there is a low intake of fruits and vegetables, there is an increased risk of heart disease. So if you can prevent or delay any kind of disorder by just eating good amount of fruits and vegetables which are rich in antioxidant, I think it's going to make a big change. Now, if you see the other important aspect, as professionals, we need to know the risk of cigarette smoking, increased risk of lung cancer. So those people who never smoked, and ex-smokers and smokers who smoke less than 15 cigarettes per day and smoking more than 15 cigarettes per day. If you see the graph, can you see the difference on how the risk of lung cancer has become so high for people who smoke more than 15 cigarettes per day? So these are some facts, evidence-based facts. So the latest, research says we need to follow evidence-based diet. There is nothing called like low carb, low sugar, low calorie, or low fat. Everything needs to have an evidence behind it. So I'm going to give you all the important, protocols, or the diet protocols, which has been given by WHO, which has been given by organizations such as National Institute of Nutrition, Indian Dietetic Association. So which will give you the right eating habits. So what should be my diet? So diet, the term diet itself, everybody, thinks that dietitian means she's going to make us eat less. So am I going to make you eat less? Let's see at the end what's going to be the answer. So if you see the picture diet, DIET, is it going to be only the fruits, vegetables? Is she going to say only that? Now let's see what is a balanced diet. The balanced diet is nothing but containing some amount of calories, which is like 2000 kilocalories, 12 to 15 percentage of protein. Out of the 2000 calories, 12 to 15 percentage should be from proteins, 20 to 25% should be from fat, and those fats which are like visible and invisible fat, we'll come to that. Carbohydrates around 60 to 70%, and out of which it should be dietary fiber. Generally, when you're going to take refined carbohydrates, we say around 50 to 55% of your diet should be carbohydrates. So the lesser the carbohydrate, the better it is. And sugars, which is like refined carbohydrate, it should constitute only 5% of your diet. Vitamins, minerals are a part of the diet. In case if you're giving a balanced meal, we don't require supplements. But if there is a deficiency, definitely vitamins and minerals are required. Now, how much of water do we need to take in a day? Along with all these nutrients, water plays a very important role, which is around 2 to 3 liters of water a day, which is around 8 to 12 glasses a day. Okay, so let's understand what the 5 food groups are. If you remember your 5 fingers, so remember, eat 5 a day. This is a slogan given by WHO, eat 5 a day. What does 5 mean? 5 nothing, it means just that eat 2 fruits and 3 vegetables. Is it possible to eat 5 a day? Am I going to keep cooking all the time in the kitchen? So let's see how it is. So the 5 food groups constitute cereals, pulses, milk and meat products, fruits and vegetables, fats, oils, and sugars. You can see the food pyramid. So all the 5 food groups are contained in this food pyramid. This was given by USDA in 2009. We still follow the food pyramid. So the lowest part of the pyramid, from the picture you can understand, the lowest part is the main course, or bread, cereal, rice, pasta, etc. The second, the mid portion, contains vegetables and fruits where the number of servings are mentioned. Then the slightly upper area says about milk products and meat products. And the topmost says about fats and sugars. So just because it is in the top, it doesn't mean you have to take more of it. So fats, oil, and sugar should be used sparingly. They are the main reasons for getting a lot of lifestyle diseases. Now let's understand each food group, what they are. So cereals, by cereals, you can see the picture that cereals means bajra, jawar, rice, wheat, corn, poha, any of these flakes, all these constitute your cereals. And what do cereals contain? Cereals contain a good amount of carbohydrate, fiber, minerals, vitamin, especially vitamin B. The simple carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. Everybody keeps telling us, like, I'm going to cut carbs. What does it mean, cutting carbs? Carbs, you can't cut carbs. We need to reduce carbs. So we need to understand what are the starchy food, what is simple carbohydrate, what is complex carbohydrate. Now in simple carbohydrate, if you can see the picture, you can understand those which have a lot of sugar, fruit juices, cakes, candies, refined food. So definitely they have to be taken in a very minimal amount. The starchy foods like cakes, pastries, potatoes, these will make you gain weight. So let's take good amount of complex carbohydrates, especially those containing fiber. So what are the foods which contain fiber? Oats, wheat, jawar, bajra. Also, fruits, vegetables do contain fiber. They come under the other category. But complex carbohydrates, which are absolutely required for the body for energy production, are these kind of foods which you can see on the screen. Then you have the second group, which is pulses. So in pulses, we have first class proteins and second class proteins. So what are first class proteins? Those which have very high biological value. Now, biological value means those which will improve your body proteins, those which can be easily absorbed by our system. So we need to take like eggs, milk, or even non-vegetarian foods contain good amount of high biological value proteins, especially chicken, fish, egg white. Now, the lean meat are anyway allowed for the system, but the red meat like pork, beef, mutton, etc. need to be avoided. The second class proteins are dals, legumes, all the sort of grains and legumes, etc. These are second class proteins. They do provide good amount of protein. They have around 7 grams, 7 percentage. So which is also very good for vegetarians. So we need to choose the right source of protein for vegetarians. The third group is fruits and vegetables. Now, as I told you, go for 2 and 5. So remember this slogan for today, go for 2 and 5. What does go for 2 and 5 mean? 2 fruits and 5 vegetables. Now, the mothers or the housewives are going to tell me, are you asking us to make 5 vegetables a day? It's impossible. Now, let me give you a very easy way how to make 5 vegetables. Say you're having onion, tomato, kakdi ka salad. So 3 vegetables done. And say you've had palak dal, the 4th vegetable is done. So you're having again in the evening 1 sukha sabji. So the 5th vegetable is done. And 2 fruits, you're having like, 1 banana or papaya or something like that, morning and evening. So your 5 is done. So it's very simple. Just don't go by the numbers. We will just find out how many fruits, vegetables we are using every day. If you see my slides, all my slides, at the end of the session, I would like to ask what is very common in all my slides. I want you all to observe very carefully and tell me in the end. So that is the solution too. So I want you all to just observe the slides and let me know at the end in the chat box. The next product, the next group is milk and meat, milk products. So by milk and milk products, there is a whole lot of different kinds of milk available. We have cow's milk, we have buffalo milk, we have soya milk. So people, almond milk, camel milk, etc. People are not understanding which milk to buy and also the source of milk. So better is to get cow's milk is anytime better compared to buffalo milk because the percentage of fat is much, much higher in buffalo milk. In soya milk, basically soya milk contains very good amount of protein. So the good protein is present in soya milk. Therefore, vegetarians can consume good amount of milk from soya milk. The non-vegetarian foods, they look very tempting. But what is good non-vegetarian and bad? You can see the picture. It says everything. So fish, chicken, egg whites are sort of so-called the better non-veg foods. Mutton, prawns, lobsters, all these contain high amount of cholesterol. Fats and sugars, which are the fats and sugars which is good for our system. So we have something called visible fat and invisible fat. Now, when I say visible fat, so anything which is visible when you use it as oil or when you use it as butter, ghee, from externally that is called as visible fat. Invisible fat is what is already present in the foodstuff. For example, in coconut, badam, walnuts, nuts, etc., the invisible fat is present within. So that is called invisible fat, and that also contributes to your fat. Similarly, we have omega-3 fats. Everybody are like, taking supplementation of omega-3. So what does omega-3 mean? It is a very important nutrient, which is very essential for our system. It is anti-inflammatory, but omega-3, unfortunately, it's present more in fish oils and, non-vegetarian foods. So what is a vegetarian source of omega-3? You can get omega-3 from your walnuts, flax seeds, etc., which are also good fats. Now, when we come to sugars, so fats and sugars is a 5th group. Sugars are definitely harmful. They are called as white evil. How much of sugar can I take every day? 2 to 3 teaspoons a day, not more than that. Now, oil, which is the best oil to use? There is nothing called as best oil. Something which is like, you should blend oil. If you use one sabzi with rice bran oil, use olive oil, maybe in your salad, use till oil in your chutney. So somehow you get all the omega-3, the polyunsaturated fatty acid, the monounsaturated fatty acid, and the saturated fat. Sometimes they are useful for our system. So you need to use a combination of oil. Are dry fruits healthy? Everybody keeps asking me, like, is dry fruit healthy for us? Yes, it is, but the quantity. You can't take a muthi bhar ke dry fruit lekar, you're not supposed to eat, because it's going to cause a lot of fat loading in your system. So dry fruits are very rich in vitamin E, selenium, magnesium, very good for the heart. They are rich in B vitamins, calcium, phosphorus, potassium. So what are the better dry fruits? Walnuts, almonds, you get, pistas, all these are okay. Flax seeds, any of these, sunflower seeds, etc. These are all nuts. What are dried fruits? Dry fruits are dried fruits, which don't come into the category of nuts. So dry fruits and nuts are separate. So nuts are healthy. Dry fruits are anjeer, dried kismis, or any of these, which also contain good amount of nutrients. So what should my day's diet look like? I have a lot of dietitian friends, I think, in this talk also. I think all of you must be aware of my how we prescribe the day's diet, but still I would like to show what should be a day's diet we need to plan like. So never skip breakfast. This is a golden statement. The reason why we say don't skip breakfast is that generally what happens when you have breakfast, overnight when we sleep, there is a slowing of your metabolism. So breakfast is your first meal of your day. And when you're going to take your breakfast, your metabolism starts pepping up. Your digestive system starts working. So that is the reason why we say never skip breakfast. So in breakfast, what am I supposed to have? If you see the portion control, it is like one portion of upma, one portion of poha, or one small paratha, 3 idlis, or a bowl of cornflakes, or dalia, or oats. So this should be the quantity. It should not be like a massive amount of breakfast. Along with this, you can have a glass of milk and a fruit. Now, this is given by the government, which says choose my plate. Choose my plate is a initiative by World Health Organization, which says how much of vegetables, how much of fruits. So when you look at the plate, you will know that this is the amount of fruits, vegetables I am supposed to take. If you see in the plate, 1/4 is your grains. The rest is protein, large amount of vegetables, small amount of fruits and dairy products. So your meal, lunch and dinner should comprise of all these groups in your diet. So it's a sample lunch dinner. So if I can show you, the portion of carbohydrate is very minimal, whereas the portion of other foods are in right quantity. This should be the quantity, especially when you're eating dinner, you need to eat much, much lesser than lunch. Evening snacks. So what I generally recommend is small frequent meals. Instead of taking 3 to 4 meals, take 7 to 8 meals a day. So as you wake up, within the first hour, you take some detox liquid like, hot water, lime or green tea, or a cup of tea. Then you have your breakfast. Mid-morning, have some buttermilk, or supposed to be, fruit time. You can have fruit at that time. Then have your lunch. Then around 3 o'clock, you could have a green tea. Around 6 o'clock, you could have a fruit, and dinner, early dinner, which is around 7 or 8 p.m. So if you're going to delay your dinner more and more, you are going to invite the next disease, which is gastroesophageal reflux. So automatically your abdominal distension, stomach fat, all this is going to increase if we're going to have a late dinner. So as professionals, see to it that we eat on time. Keep a time of 8, 1, 8. 8 is in the morning, 1 for lunch, and 8 for dinner. So this is the evening snacks. If you can look at the snacks, you can eat any of these, which are like low calorie snacks. Beverages, you can choose between 2 coffees or 2 tea, or vegetable juice or carrot juice or coconut water or green tea, etc. These are very, very healthy beverages. Even tea is supposed to be good, but if it is taken in moderation. Now, let me talk to you about what is green tea. Green tea is very rich in antioxidants. They contain polyphenols, and a cup of green tea supplies around 200 milligrams of flavonoids. And these flavonoids are very essential for our body because the antioxidant potency in a cup of tea is 400% higher than a cup of orange juice. So imagine the present scenario, especially when we are all fighting on immune rich nutrients, we are all wanting to have immunity boosters. So I would recommend all of you to take a good cup of green tea every day, at least twice. A simple, non flavored, plain green tea will also be enough. You don't have to go for any kind of fancy flavors. A simple green tea, just fresh leaves with a cup of hot water. Now, I'm just going to give you all the dietary tips to unlock the diet goals. I've given you what are the foods which are right and wrong. Now, let's see what is the most important tip. If you can see the picture, what does it say? It says balance. This is what we are not doing. If we don't balance, the universe or the nature teaches us how to balance. So, it is very important. The first balance as a diet goal is weight. We need to have a weight balance. That is, there should be a balance between food intake and energy expenditure. So, the weight gain and weight loss and weight maintenance, it all revolves on how much you take and how much you lose energy. So, let's see how we do that. The other important factors, as I said, is fruit intake, milk intake, exercise, eating right, maintaining your weight. All these play a very important role in balance. Now, in the present scenario, you can see that all of us are going through a lot of mental and physical imbalance. Mind is playing a havoc on the physical body. People are in the mode of working from home, sitting long hours in the computer. We have unconscious eating habits. We eat quick. There is a lot of anxiety and uncertainty, because of which a lot of stress hormones are released, because of which people are more prone to diabetes and hypertension. Immunity is becoming more and more low because of late hours of sleep and work. We have improper meal timings and there is more exertion. So most of the housewives started telling, like, we are working from home and we are working at home. So there is more of exertion compared to exercise. So, what do we do while working from home? Eat healthy while working from home. How do we do? I've already given you the tips: small, frequent meals. Keep some fillers. The fillers are nothing but dry fruits, fruits. You reduce your tea and coffee. Take good amount of green tea. Stay hydrated. Most of the time, professionals complain of headache. What is the reason? Because we don't hydrate ourselves. Now, how do I hydrate myself? Say you're awake for 12 hours or your working schedule is 12 hours. What you do is every 1 hourly take a glass of water, just 200 ml of water. So at the end of say 200 to 250 ml, at the end of 12 hours, you have finished 12 glasses of water, which is nothing but 3 liters a day. So that's enough. That's going to suffice your water intake. Now, other things that you can do is keep cut fruits. Before you start your work, cut the fruits, put it in a bowl, put a cling film over it and keep it next to your desk. Keep some protein bars or keep some fiber-rich biscuits. Keep everything handy before you sit for your work. Otherwise, what happens, because we don't plan it ahead or because we don't create the agenda or the necessity to eat right, we just eat when we are hungry. Watch your weight if you're 40 plus. Avoid late night meals. Exercise 5 times a week. How much of exercise? We'll come to that point. Once a meal, at least take salad, a good amount of salad, which can be even a simple kakadi. Cut karke, if you just keep it and have it in your, along with your meal, that's more than enough. It's not necessary to make, special kind of salad. And most important is, if you're doing a good amount of workout, you need to have a protein shake. Protein in the sense, a good amount of supplementary protein or eggs or good quality high biological value protein. Apart from this, what is the most important thing that we need to watch is watch on portion size. Portion size. I'm going to give you a very interesting slide about portion control. There's been a lot of portion distortion. Can you see the slide? What does it say? 20 years ago, coffee was made with just milk and sugar. But what was the calories content of coffee? It was just 45 calories and 8 ounces was the size of coffee. But if I go out to have a mug of coffee, it's not a cup of coffee anymore. It's called a mug of coffee. And the coffee contains like whole milk and mocha syrup and, caramel and whatnot. So what is the calorie content of coffee now? It's 350 calories. It's like a meal replacement. It's like a meal substitute. So how much of coffee we take in a day? Please introspect. It's very important. It's a question to, ask ourselves. Avoid the white evils. salt, sugar, sabudana, maida. These are called as white evils also in Ayurveda. So take moderate amount of all these. I'm not saying you need to stay away from these. Salt, at least 5 grams a day is a must. Sugars, as I said, 2 to 3 teaspoons a day. Sabudana, if a person is overweight or a diabetic, avoid them. And maida, definitely they are going to cause a lot of gastrointestinal discomfort. So avoid these foods. What do I do when I eat outside? So if you're on a weight loss diet or if you're on a healthy eating habit, what do I do? I'm getting tempted to eat out. So choose the healthy option. Order for a bowl of salad. Take a glass of lime juice. Take either buttermilk or coconut water. Eat tandoori rotis or wheat rotis instead of maida rotis. On special occasions, yes, I do want you to celebrate all your special occasions. But what do? I ate a bowl of, I ate a heavy thali. I showed you a thali and I ate the entire thali. What am I supposed to do? It's around 1500 calories. So I am supposed to compensate the rest of the meal, morning or dinner. If I'm going to have a heavy meal in the dinner, I'm going to compensate very light meal for lunch and always order something low calorie foods along with your heavy meal so that it can neutralize, it can make you fill your stomach. But the most important thing that we need to do is exercise and compensate. These are beneficial foods. These should be taken in good amount in the present COVID scenario. We need to take good amount of white oats, garlic, walnuts, flax seeds, very good amount of fruits and vegetables. So these are called as immune nutrients. They contain vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, copper, manganese, zinc. These are all very, very important for our immunity. You can see the picture again, which says whole grains, nuts, spinach, iron, folic acid. All these are excellent nutrients to improve our hemoglobin. Garlic and onion, they contain quercetin. Fruits and vegetables, they contain carotenoids. Oats contain, cancer-preventing agents and cholesterol-lowering agents. Broccoli, cabbage, very rich in vitamin C. So they are all antioxidants. So we need to take good amount of antioxidant-rich diet. Okay, what if I keep on eating only healthy food? When am I going to give rest to my digestive system? I need to do a fast. When can I do a fast? Once in 15 days. So the fast is called as a detox diet. So on the day of fasting, I've seen people taking varai ka chawal, ya aloo ka sabzi, or high carbohydrate containing foods. That is the day when you are going to eat less. You eat raw food. You can see the picture. You can eat buttermilk, you can eat raw salad, rice kanji, or raw papad, anything which is going to be very light in your digestive system. Next, very important aspect is water. I told you already, 8 to 12 glasses of water a day is a must. Around 60 to 65% of our human body is water. Why is it so important? Because 92% of blood is water, 75% of muscles is water, 22% of bones is water, and 75% of brain is water. So if it's so important, we need to take, definitely, please keep a bottle of water. The next take home message, as and when I'm talking, I'm giving you one take home message at the end of my slides. Please note it down. Keep a bottle of water. Carry a bottle of water in your car or next to your computer. The first thing that you would do when you on your laptop is just keep a bottle of water next to you and start sipping. Now, most important aspect, walk. Why is walking so important? Because it's the simplest, cheapest, and easiest, effective and safe. How much do we walk? At least 30 minutes every day. 30 minutes into 5 days is 150 minutes per day is what American Heart Association says. If you're going to walk 150 minutes per week, so 30 minutes per day is 150 minutes per week, which is more than enough to strengthen your heart. And twice a week, you can do some endurance or muscle strengthening exercises. So some exercises like weight training and things like that definitely require good amount of by high biological value proteins and whey protein. So definitely the muscles undergo wear and tear. So we need to take good amount of these proteins too. What should be our weight? Can we be Laurel or Hardy? What should be the weight? You can type it, which number you want to be. So there is a spectrum of dietary advice. Eat less, do a meal replacement, follow very low calorie diet, or follow some fat diet, or follow intermittent fasting, or follow keto diet. Any number of advices are available. But where do we approach? Whom do we approach? To this audience, I would definitely like to mention that please do not, consult Google Doctor. Please consult a registered practitioner, registered nutritional, a nutritionist who can give you the right advice, who can plan your menu, who can plan your meal as per your height, weight, because every person's diet is different. So, what do we do by doing all this? We prevent a lot of lifestyle diseases. The central obesity, most important, the risk is because of central obesity. You can see that visceral fat is the real enemy compared to subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat is just below the skin, but the visceral fat is in the abdominal viscera. It's an intra-abdominal fat. It's going to cause a lot of fatty liver issues, or it can cause gallbladder stones, or fats can cause cancers of the colon and intestine. So we need to be very watchful about the visceral fat, and the subcutaneous fat is going to be easily vanished by exercise, but the visceral fat can reduce only with diet and exercise. So what is a conventional treatment? Behavioral modification, nutritional prescription, and exercise. I call it nutritional prescription. Like a medical prescription, you need to take a prescription from a qualified registered nutritionist. So what is the most important tip in weight reduction? The most important tip, people always say that, it's very difficult to lose weight. I have PCOD, I can't lose weight. I have a hormonal issue, I can't lose weight. Or, I don't eat at all, but still I'm not able to lose weight. What is the reason? What is the most important tip? It's a very evidence-based tip which I want to give you. The most important tip is reduce your calories by just 500 calories a day. Now, if you're going to reduce 500 calories, what happens? 1 pound of fat is equal to 3,500 calories. If you're reducing 500 calories every day, 7 days, you will lose 1 pound of fat very easily. It's a very simple mathematical calculation. So the fuel intake and the fuel burned has to be in balance. Again, as I said, weight loss secret is nothing but balance. So the next most important aspect, smoking, which is very, very high risk in side stream smoke. It has got 4,000 chemical compounds and 400 toxic substances, 700 degrees centigrade at the tip and 600 in the core. Alcohol, how much of alcohol is right? I'm sure that all of you know the negative effects of alcohol, but I just thought I'll give you a slide for that. If anybody takes alcohol, you need to know that what is the right amount. You are at risk if you drink more than 14 drinks per week or 4 drinks at occasions. If you are more than 65 years and 7 drinks per week or 3 drinks at occasions. So this is the amount of alcohol which is allowed for normally. Generally, it is not allowed. I should not say it is allowed, but this is the right amount. Would you prefer this? Can you see the burger? How big it is? It has got so many. It's got an entree. It has got a pound patty, half pound patty, red onion, cheese, again patty. Or would you prefer this? Which looks better to your eyes? I'm sure all of you will be choosing this slide. So therefore, between the two, balance. So you may be having this question, can I still have, what does she want to say then? Can I still have ice creams? Can I still have chocolates, burgers, French fries? So what's the answer? Simple answer is lifestyle modification. We need to do a weight reduction. If you are above 25 BMI, follow some small dietary changes like increase fruits, vegetables, reduce your dairy fat products, decrease your salt intake to 6 grams, physical activity, as I said, 30 minutes per day, and moderate alcohol intake. Okay, I have given you all the goals. I have given you the right food to eat. I have also given you the dietary tip. What if these resolutions fail? What do we do when we are not able to carry forward after a week? I'm just giving you very simple dietary tips or the dietary goals. So this is the most important aspect of our presentation today. Your diet or your food is not what you eat. It's what you watch. It's what you listen to. Even today, when you're listening to the right eating habits, something changes within you. You may be feeling like, yes, today I'm supposed to, think about my healthy habits. I'm sure all of you are sitting here have come for some information about yourself. So what you listen to, what you read, the people you hang around with, be mindful of the things that you put into your body, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So your diet is not what you eat, it's all the other factors. What are the reasons why they fail? It is because we give lame excuses. We wait for the right time to start. There is no right time to start. We start it right away. That is the right time. There is a lot of lack of consistency. People follow big goals and do not have a specific goal. They have non specific goals. And the word diet itself is demotivating. So do not call the word diet as something for weight reduction. Diet simply means balanced meal. So you say that I am on a health gain initiative and not on a weight loss initiative. So too many advices of plans, we do get confused. Never ending list of workouts. You have Zumba, you have PT, you have gym, and we always look for quick fix methods. Do not look for quick fix methods. And we do have unconscious eating habits. Check on the unconscious eating habits. Focus on the end point rather than the process. So these are the things that we actually think that we are focusing too much on. I need to lose 50 kgs, but forget about the 50 kgs. Think of how you can lose 3 kgs. These are unrealistic targets which we keep within ourselves, that I am going to be into my idealistic weight. Nobody is in idealistic weight. We need to be in a realistic weight. So I'm giving you the workable tips. Quickly, there are some 10, 11 tips. Number one, change your mindset. I'm going to gain health instead of saying I'm going to lose weight. Focus more on health gain. Be smart. This is what is your take home message. Be smart, specific. What is the precise outcome I'm looking for? Measurable. How will I know when I've accomplished the goal? Achievable. What are the resources that I need to achieve? Go get it. Everything is available outside. You just need to go and find it out. Are relevant, realistic goal. Why am I doing it? Time oriented. What is the deadline? What is the time I need to give for myself? The third important tip is be specific. I can easily say from tomorrow I'm going to start exercise. Do not give that goal. Give a goal. From tomorrow I'm going to walk 10 minutes 3 times a day. This is a specific smart goal. This is going to be workable. If you're going to just say I want to be fit, it is a bad goal. You have to become more specific. Fourth, start small. Make small baby steps. Include one health technique every day. At the end of the session, I would request you all to write down what is my small start. Make very simple, effortless winning habits. Listen to your body. Do not generalize. One man's food is another man's poison. So one diet does not fit all. You need to personalize. That is the reason why we say we need to give personalized diet chart as per the height and weight. The next important point is conscious indulgence and conscious eating. So if I'm going to be eating all the time only and only healthy food, your mind is going to come in between and say that, I'm fed up of this healthy eating habit, let me chuck it. What you're supposed to do, just if you feel, decide and do. Decide and indulge. Say that I'm going to have one mango today, so I'm going to reduce my rest of the carbohydrates. So do not beat yourself up for not being perfect. This is normal. Keep trying and improving. 95% of the people want to be the way they are. And if you are the 5%, you have come into this seminar today to know what is right, definitely I want you to take some resolution today so that we can get back to shape, get back to simple, realistic, right eating habits. So be the 5%. And if you want to be the 95%, you can be the way you are, but always change is the only thing which is constant. So I request you all to get into the 5%. You're already in the 5% of the people who are wanting to listen to the healthy eating habits. There is no such thing called as a failure. They're all learning opportunities. So be realistic. I already said, be specific, be realistic in your goals, and need to be internally motivated. You need to do it for yourself, not for somebody else who has told you to do. If you're going to do it for yourself, you're going to be successful. So those are the goals that we need to unlock. The most important is follow evidence-based diets, and those can be given only by registered qualified dietitians. Be smart, conscious eating, conscious indulgence, set small goals and achieve them, follow evidence-based practice and be the five. I'm just giving the laws of nutrition being legal chambers. I thought, let me give you your own laws. I would like to end the session by giving these 12 small laws. Avoid storing junk. Replace with healthy options. Only when you store junk in your house, you're going to eat them. Stay hydrated. Every hourly, take 200 to 250 ml of water. Do not skip any meal. Avoid eating junk in lunch meetings. Generally, what happens, you go for client meetings, lunch meetings, choose one healthy alternative at least. Learn to pack your own tiffin and snacks. If you carry with you some protein bars or fruits or cut fruits, somewhere you can eat one healthy meal at least. Plan your meals like how you plan your agenda. We all plan our agenda. As professionals, we know this is our timing. Today, we all planned our agenda for 6 to 7:30. So we need to plan our meal like how we plan our agenda. Eat the rainbow colors. Use a lot of immune boosting foods, which are rich in vitamin C and vitamin D, which is required in the present scenario. Get good sleep, regular physical activity of 150 minutes a week, manage stress. Now, stress is very harmful to your immune system. It can increase your cortisol levels. So follow some relaxation technique or meditation or any mindfulness activity. And the most important thing is relax while you eat. Why do we say relax while you eat? Because when you eat, you're connected to your emotions. So the food itself is a medicine. So when you eat, give some time for eating. Give 15 to 20 minutes for proper chewing your food. And your digestive system is going to definitely listen to you, and it's going to give you the best output. So these are your own 12 laws of nutrition. Any of these laws can fit any of you all. I would definitely recommend you to take at least 2 to 3 laws from these and follow them. So being a busy professional doesn't have to harm your health if you have careful planning strategies. Therefore, I would like to end the session by saying enjoy health. Thank you. So in case anybody would like to contact me, you could approach me through email, or you could book any online session. So I would request you all, if you have any questions regarding your diet or your food habits, we could discuss now.
Thank you very much, Ambikaji, for this wonderful session. Thank you very much. It was a completely different session for us. It was not a regular kind of a technical legal session or a generic session, but it was completely altogether a new session where you have given us tips and suggestions to actually completely revive our neural pathway for eating right food. I first of all, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for giving us a lot of takeaways during this presentation. Because you have mentioned it is health gain which is more important than what we call as a weight loss initiative, because ultimately it is health is wealth. And also you have told us about how to stay fit and healthy. Professionals require always to be smart, and you have also suggested us smart ways of maintaining our health and being physically, mentally and emotionally fit by keeping the right balance in food, whatever food we eat. And for the audience, I would like to personally tell you that our special speaker has been requested by the hospitals to set up a special COVID food package. Madam, if you could just tell for the benefit of our audience, what is that specific work which you have carried out successfully?
Yes, there was some government hospitals who had approached me to create a diet for COVID patients, as well as we are now doing for around 2,000 patients who are literally, getting guidelines from the right guidelines from Indian Dietetic Association. So I'm, a part of the Indian Dietetic Association as a co-convener. So we have created high protein, high calorie diet. The reason why there was this contribution, there was a requirement because most of the COVID patients require high protein, and that is very, very important for them to be, reducing the number of days in the ventilator or number of days in the ICU. So when you're going to take a right high calorie, high protein diet, it's really very helpful for you to be lesser number of stays in the hospital. So, so I always have the slogan or the tagline within me. The better they eat, the earlier they leave. So the better they are fed, the sooner they leave the hospital. So keeping that in mind, I've created the COVID diet class in General Hospital in Pune. So, and apart from this, a lot of other units where we have, created awareness. Especially being in the Indian Dietetic Association, we also conduct a lot of programs for breastfeeding mothers. So, August 1st to August 7th is a breastfeeding week. So in this time, we have done a campaign for what are the right ways to, feed the baby. And so these kind of protocols, we have done some initiatives along with FSSAI, that is Federation, that is FSSAI, Government of India. As Indian Dietetic Association, I've been, fortunate to contribute for guidelines for diet and diseases for the entire Government of India. So these kind of PDF is also available. We could share it with you, so all of you can avail of it. And it's really very useful because these are all evidence-based guidelines where you could know exactly what you can take in your diet. Apart from this, as I said, the personalized diet is anytime good for everybody because we need to know what we need to eat. So these are some initiatives apart from other few. Thank you so much, Anand, for bringing
Thank
this
you,
over.
Ambika ji. Yeah, it was really wonderful. Actually, you are one of the frontline Corona warriors, and AP Legal Chamber at this stage take the opportunity to thank you for contributing and giving back to the society during this pandemic time.
Thank you so much.
Uh, it
So I
was
think
really
there
a
are,
refreshing session, and we have got quite a few questions from the participants. And if it is okay for you, shall we take it one by one?
yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. The first one is asked by Ms. Aishwarya. She wants to know that is there any specific diet that an IBS patient should follow, or it differs from person to person?
Yes, for IBS is irritable bowel syndrome. So IBS diet is definitely a personalized diet, but nevertheless, those foods which contain soluble fiber is very, very good for IBS patient because we can't give coarse fiber. We can't give a very generally we call it hari, vari, and curry. Those foods which can increase your spice, or those which are thermally, chemically, and mechanically irritating food for your digestive system needs to be avoided for IBS patients. Apart from that, we need to give good quality protein and easily digestible protein because a lot of IBS patients cannot digest even grains, like they cannot digest legumes or high good protein stuff also. So we need to give a personalized diet, and definitely it is a diet for the GI tract. So we need to follow it in a very therapeutic way.
Yeah. Thank you, Ambika ji. I think, Ms. Aishwarya, if you have further doubts, you can directly consult our special speaker. Now, moving on to the next question. It is asked by Mr. Prakash Kumar. He is one of our regular participants. He is an advocate practicing in Ranchi High Court, in Jharkhand High Court in Ranchi. So he wants to know what is the best diet for immunity booster for professionals and even for laymen. So if you could just throw some light on specific immunity boosters.
Yeah, we have the specific immunity boosters. Number one is vitamin C rich foods are specific immunity boosters. Vitamin C, at least we need 500 milligrams a day, to fight against this pandemic. So minimum of that much of vitamin C, but it is not a must that you need to take it in the form of supplements. You can take it in the form of avla or broccoli or vitamin C citrus containing fruits, or those which will enhance the vitamin C in the diet, like tomatoes, etc. They contain good amount of vitamin C. And antioxidants, vitamin C comes under the category of antioxidant. The second immunity booster is vitamin D3. Now, people who have low vitamin D3 levels in the body, definitely they have low immune system. So we need to, there are researches which have proved that vitamin D3 levels need to go above around up to 50 nanogram. Only then, the immunity function is good. So any of you all who have lower vitamin D3 levels, please take either vitamin D3 supplements, or sun exposure will not give us that much of vitamin D3. But if the levels are very low, we need to take vitamin D3 supplementation. And the next immunity booster is zinc. Zinc is a very good nutrient for immunity. So these foods which contain zinc are like nuts, and grains. These contain whole grains, nuts, legumes contain good amount of zinc. Zinc needs to be taken in the diet. And a balanced diet, like the way I gave you, the balanced diet is an immune rich diet. If you see, I had asked you a question about what is common in my slide. Can any of the audience answer that in the chat box? What was very common in my slideshow? Okay, let me give the answer because the answer is related to your question. All dark yellow, green, orange, red fruits, vegetables. If you could see, most of my slides had colors. So color was very common in the slides. So you choose for more of colors for improving your immunity. So that was your answer, Mr. Prakash Kumar.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you, ma'am. And in fact, a few of our participants have also guessed it correctly. So
Right.
colorful fruits and vegetables, rainbow, green veggies. So they have almost they have tried to give their answers from their end. So now moving on to the next question.
Yes.
It is asked by Ms. Gayatri. For a person who has a family history of diabetics, where both parents had late stage diabetics, what specific diet would you recommend for this person at risk, and how should it change as per the age?
Yes. So a person who has already a family history of diabetes, where both parents had late stage diabetes, it is not early onset diabetes. So what we generally say is, diabetic is also genetic. Presently, diabetes, India is the diabetic capital, by the way. So it is called as diabesity. So diabetes with obesity is a package. So what we need to do is we need to take complex carbohydrates, which I mentioned in my slideshow. So complex carbohydrates, less of simple carbohydrates like refined sugar, maida, etc., and more of fiber rich, that is soluble fiber and coarse fiber like wheat bran, oats, millets, etc., could be included in the diet of these patients. How can we prevent diabetes? We can at least delay the onset of diabetes if it is genetic. Plus, exercise is a must because it will help your insulin resistance. So, therefore, as per the age, how it changes, if it's a very, if your lifestyle is very bad and if your food habits are bad, definitely you need to change. But if you are going to have proper, foods like healthy options, definitely you can at least delay diabetes. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And we have got one more question related to diabetics. Ms. Rama Singh wants to know what's the best diet for a diabetic person?
Yes, diabetic diet is a very special diet. In fact, diabetic diet is the best diet for all because it has got only 50% carbohydrates and 20 percentage of proteins, 15 to 20% protein we can take in diabetic diet, and 25% fat. So basically, diabetic diet is a weight loss diet. Diabetic diet is a healthy diet. So when you are, sudden, detected diabetic patients, they get scared. Oh my God, I got diabetes. So I tell them, don't worry, you're going to eat the most healthiest diet from now on. Okay, so it's just that taboo that I'm a diabetic. So basically, diabetic diet, you need to have small, frequent meals. You cannot have large meals. That's number one. Number two, complex carbs should be more. Rice and simple carbs can be taken less. There is no evidence which says this rice and wheat, rice is better, worse, or wheat is better. both have the same glycemic index. That is the index which will raise the blood sugar. So we need to choose wisely the correct amount of carbohydrates in the meal. Around 300 grams a day is allowed for diabetics, but it should be complex carbohydrate, and definitely exercise. Diabetic diet, also certain foods which are like hypoglycemic agents, methi, flaxseed, all these will decrease your blood sugar. So these should be used in good amount in the diabetic diet.
Yes.
And
Thank you,
definitely cut
Ambika.
down sugar.
Yeah, please continue. Yeah.
Yes. In the diabetic diet, we generally say cut down sugar. Do not take sugar. If you have detected diabetes, definitely do not take sugar. Cut the sugar completely.
Yes.
Yes.
As you mentioned in your slides, the white evil. Yeah.
Yes, the white evils.
Yeah. Thank you. The next question we have is from Ms. Gayatri. She wants to know if chicken is said to be better than mutton. How can we compare broiler chicken that is more readily available than free range of chickens versus mutton? I feel mutton, not being a broiler or home hormone loaded, is much safer and healthier than consuming broiler chicken. So, what is your opinion?
Yes, mutton comes under the category of red meat, Gayatri. So we need to avoid mutton, prawns or pork, beef, etc. Now, how much of mutton can I take? If it's going to be like once in 15 days, your body's defense works. It is going to take care of it. So don't worry about it. Once in 15 days or once a month, it's allowed. But if you're going to take it regularly, I would definitely recommend you not to take it, because it has got very high fat, which will increase your visceral fat. I talked about the visceral fat also. So chicken is better option than mutton, because 100 grams of chicken contains 24 grams of protein. Mutton also contains protein and B12, but chicken protein is anytime better than mutton protein. And how do we compare broiler chicken? See, we don't know the source of chicken as of now. If you know the source of chicken, it's from a good source, then you can go ahead and take broiler chicken. Compared to mutton, that is anytime better.
Yeah, thank you, Ambikaji, for answering the
Yes.
question. Now, moving on to the next question. It is again asked by Mr. Prakash Kumar. He wants to know, in Indian culture, potato is used in every food items. And in this lockdown, potato has become king of all vegetables. But potato has a lot of carbohydrates and fats. And is it good for health? And what is your opinion?
Okay, potato, as I said, in most of my talks, I do say, aloo gobi, aloo palak, aloo methi. Aloo ke bina chalta hi nahi hai Indian food items mein. So, how much of potato? Potato comes under the category of roots and tubers. 100 grams of potato will give you 100 calories. Okay, so think about it, how much calories you're taking if you're taking potatoes. Now, if you're going to take it in the form of sabzi, फिर भी ठीक है, because potato can be taken in, sabji form or little boiled form. But if it is going to be taken in patty form or in, French fries form or smileys form, you are adding on to the fat, you're loading the carbohydrates with fat also, which is absolutely not good for health. So take potatoes very sparingly. I know during this time potato is easily available, so we need to be restricting on potatoes. Instead, take more and more of salad vegetables, so that will fill your stomach, because potato fills your stomach. So you can take potatoes like twice a week. So moderation. What I always say is, don't say no to everything. Just say moderation is the key word, because when we say no, your mind craves for the same potato. So it's better to take small amount of potato and leave it. So that is anytime better.
Thank you, Ambika ji. Now, I would just like to ask a question here. You talked about this moderated eating habit. And should I eat what I feel like eating? Or should I stand there and start calculating how much calories does it contain? And start skipping it?
Yeah. So very good question. So if I'm going to keep calculating the number of teaspoons of oil that I'm going to take every day, I'm going to go mad. So no need to do that. So what we need to do is, that is why you leave the job to the dietitians. They will calculate, they will write your menu plan and give it to you. You just have to follow the menu. We will be giving it to you as roti, sabzi, dal, chawal, and not as numbers of 30 grams of rice, itna calorie, itna protein. We're not going to give you. So the best way is to approach a qualified person, Or if you want to, if you're health freak and if you like to know about calorie counters, there are so many calorie counters available, calorie calculations, but you need to take the authentic source, the right source, because so much of information is there. People, the same idli will be calculated as having 500 calories in one site. The idli may have 50 calories, so the patient or the person who's referring to gets confused. So it's better to take opinion from a qualified person. And instead of thinking so much about calories, think about how we are going to incorporate two fruits, three vegetables, one cup of dal, one cup of rice, two rotis. So this is an easier way rather than calculating, because we have done the calculation and we have told you a sample day's diet, right? So follow that pattern. That's easier than calculating calories. I always tell my patients that if you have to calculate oil, I tell them 3 to 4 teaspoons of oil per person per day, or 750 ml of oil in a month. So the patient says like, madam, ये कैसे measure करेंगे? एक एक चम्मच हम थोड़ी, we can't measure it. So I tell them, कितने लोग हैं घर में? तो 4 लोग हैं. 4 लोग 3 चम्मच तेल. 4 into 3, 12 teaspoons of oil. Put it in a katori and keep, and say, आज का दिन का जो भी खाना है, I'm going to cook it with this 12 teaspoons of oil. So that's an easier way, right? So that is why information is very important. Awareness about nutrition is important.
Yes, Ambika ji. So I think this is the one of the takeaways if you are attending this session. So how much we have to limit ourselves with all the oil or other items, fat items. So in fact, we need to actually restrain ourselves from actually taking up these kind of foods.
Right.
Yeah. Ambika ji, with your permission, can we just have we have prepared a set of questions from our end. Can we just have it like a rapid fire type of session?
Yes, quick, yes.
Yeah, thank you. So the first question is, everyone is fond of junk foods. And so if I want to replace junk foods, how can I do it, and with what do I replace it?
Okay, replace junk foods with fruits, protein bars, dry fruits, nuts, or khakras or sprouts, sukhi bale. These can be replaced.
Yes. Thank you. Now the second question is, you have mentioned about drinking a lot of water every day. So how can we stay hydrated throughout the day?
Yeah, I told you also that, say you're working for 12 hours, say you're awake for 18 hours. So 6 hours you leave. For 12 hours, every hourly, take 1 glass of water. So that will give you 3 liters a day. That's a very easier way to drink water. And it's not necessary that you need to take water itself. Even if you take green tea or buttermilk, it comes under your fluid requirement of 3 liters a day, up to 2 to 3 liters.
Thank you. Now moving on quickly to the next question. So I am a professional and I keep running from one courtroom to another courtroom, or in fact from one court to another court. So I don't find a proper time to have my lunch. And if I quickly want to supplement it with small tiffin or eatables, so what would you suggest me that I should carry with me?
Okay, so what you can do is, definitely, number one point, there is no excuse for time. Okay, most important is we give like we don't have time, so I skipped my lunch. First thing is, you will make an agenda, make a goal, and plan that I am going to carry a small tiffin with me. If I miss that meal, I will eat that tiffin. The tiffin can contain some veg paratas or paneer roll, paneer paratas, or you can carry cut fruits. Morning, just take a small dabba of cut fruits with you. Keep some dry fruits with you, or bananas, or any of these liquids, like green tea. Put it in a flask and carry it and go. So any of these can be taken. Now, as a meal replacement, you can even keep some protein shakes or protein powders, so which you can just mix it up in water and drink. So these can also be a little bit giving you some amount of energy. Instead of not eating anything, you have eaten something at least. So that will prevent acidity, prevent a lot of other digestive complications. So that's the only way. The most important answer, I would say, like the final answer, is to decide your day, plan it. I've also given you the tips for planning and how to, have right goals.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Ambika ji. I'm sure everyone, including me, would follow the diet goals which you have given.
Yes.
Now, Now, quickly moving on to the next question. I carry my lunch along with me and keep my lunch box in my car.
Okay.
It stands in the open sun. So when I come back and start having that in a plastic box like a Tupperware or a kind of a thing, is it good to have that when it is the entire box is kept for the under the sunlight for more than 3-4 hours?
No, it is not good to have, because especially keeping food in plastic containers, it's really harmful for the system, because they are very carcinogenic, however good the food grade plastic be. So it's always better to keep in stainless steel, even if you keep it in your car, or if it is left in the hot sun. So keep it in stainless steel if there is no other option. Otherwise, stale food is definitely, if it's kept for more than 5-6 hours, do not take it. It's better than not consuming it and taking that and causing any stomach issues.
Yeah. Thank you. And moving to the next question, professionals nowadays are overloading with supplements.
Right.
So does it cause toxicity, or how to avoid it, or what are the other replacement options we have got?
Right. So I generally recommend supplements only when there is a deficiency. Say if you have a iron deficiency or a hemoglobin issue, or if you have calcium, vitamin D3 or B12 deficiency, you still try with normal balanced diet. But if you don't, reach to that level of supplementation, then you can take supplements. Those supplements which have to be prescribed by a registered doctor or a dietitian, registered dietitian, that too. So can prescribe supplements. So when we prescribe, what do we say? We say that take it for small period of time till your nutritional deficiency is taken care of, and after which you will be off the supplements and convert it into balanced diet. Especially people are loading themselves with gym goers. I've seen that they take a lot of whey proteins and too much of BCA. They know the information is in like available. So creatinine, branch chain amino acids, these are very, very harmful for the kidneys. So we need to choose what to take. We need to get the right knowledge about the supplements. Too much of supplements definitely cause hypertoxicity, like vitamin A, D, E, K. These are fat soluble vitamins. So these cannot be stored in the body. So they are going to add on to your toxicity. So we cannot take in large amounts. Whereas water soluble vitamins, B1, B2, B6, vitamin C, these are excreted out of your system. So even if you take in more quantity, they're not going to be harmful.
Quickly moving on to the next question. If I am someone who consume 8 to 10 cups of tea or coffee a day, and if I come to you, what would be your advice? What would be your advice?
The first advice is, absolutely, the question itself is so very clear to all of you. All in the audience are going to advise. What would you advise in the audience? Can I get some chat, please? What would you advise? I'm going to tell you that 7 to 8 cups of tea, coffee I'm taking. Would you still want to continue taking the teas and coffees?
Yeah, we are getting response from the participants.
Yeah. So, yes, many have written replace with green tea, minimum 2 cups. I'm so happy. Lemon tea, tea and coffee, green tea. Excellent. So, if you are in the habit of taking 6 to 7 teas, replace it with green tea. Superb. Replace it with lemon tea. Gayatri has given a superb solution. So, therefore, these are better option for tea and coffee. And if you still want to have your tea and coffee, 2 cups, I've allowed you. It's okay, because they do contain polyphenols, they do contain substances. Caffeine is also good for your body, small amounts, so can be taken. So Manpreet Kaur has also written like reduce the amounts first and then the number of times. Superb. She's also dietitian. Good, Manpreet.
Yes, slowly we can start reducing the quantity and then the number of times we consume it.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. How much one should keep his or her stomach empty?
Okay. Your stomach empty. Each person's stomach is going to speak for itself, right?
Yeah.
When you eat the food. So generally we say in Ayurveda, 1/3 of your stomach needs to be empty. So, but 1/3 empty, people are not able to do it now because you have a whole lot of activities coming up and people are taking only 3 meals. So if you're going to leave it as 1/3 empty, it's not going to be useful. So take 3/4 full. So instead of saying which is a better option, half empty or half full of the glass, I would say the answer is take 3/4 full. I think you got your answer.
Yeah. Thank you, Ambikaji. Now we have one more question from our participant. She wants to know, I have my son loves to eat eggs. Is it okay if I give him daily one egg? He is just 3.
Yes, he can take one egg every day, not an issue. But one egg is good because egg is a complete protein and he's above 3. And if he doesn't have any egg allergies, you can definitely ask him to have eggs, not an issue.
Thank you, Ambikaji. Now quickly moving on to the next question. So as a professional, what are the specific immunonutrients apart from the things you have mentioned in the slides one should consume every day?
Every day, the immunonutrients, like present day, I would suggest more for this present pandemic. I want you all to consume more of these so-called functional foods. Now, functional foods, I've also showed in one of the slides as beneficial foods. Take good amount of ginger, good amount of turmeric. Turmeric, you could even have a, 1/4 teaspoon or a pinch of turmeric at least 3 to 4 times in hot water, which is excellent for your system. So abroad, turmeric is available as curcumin tablets. So we use turmeric in plenty in our kitchen. So apart from that, use a lot of turmeric, ginger, and avla, which is rich in vitamin C. You can use garlic. Garlic is very good for hypertension. It is very good in quercetin and immunonutrients. Use a lot of onions in your diet. They also are immunonutrients. Plus, if you can make a simple kada, like made out of all these functional foods, you all know what the functional foods are. So you can use jaggery, or you can use palm sugar, or you can use brown sugar, which is like organic, which doesn't have any chemical treatment. So those kind of sugar substitutes, or honey can be used. You can use lime, you can use avla, pepper, all these, dalchini, the spices. So we have a whole lot of spices in our kitchen. Indians kitchen has got all these spices. So we are very fortunate to use those in our diet. That is also the reason why we are more, our immunity is much better than others. So you can use all these immunonutrients in a good amount in your diet. Plus, the proportion also needs to be taken care of. If dalchini is used, dalchini is very heaty to the system. So take it in moderation. Take pinch of it 3 to 4 times a day. Do not take 1 spoon of dalchini and you're going to end up in ulcers, or oral mucosa is going to get burnt. So these kind of things we need to take care of.
Yeah, thank you, Ambikaji. Because in fact, we have in Tamil an old saying that unave marundu. The
Right.
entire food or the system itself acts as a medicine. Instead
Exactly.
of later on taking the marunde unav, instead of taking the entire medicines as food, it is better we consume the food itself as a medicine in small quantity or in the correct proportion.
Correct. So this was given by Socrates, like, let thy food be thy medicine. So this was way back, it was told that food is your medicine. So I think right now also food is very important for us in this time pandemic, where we need to focus more on improving our immunity to fight against the disease.
Yes, yes. In fact, it is high time that we start realizing the importance of maintaining a good, healthy diet system. In fact, we
Correct.
have slowly started losing our focus due to this mad rush we had during this normal time, and this lockdown has given us an opportunity to actually set things right.
Correct. So it's given us an opportunity to introspect about our food, eating habits, sleeping habits. So we can actually plan our calendar every days. How many hours can we give for exercise? I'm sure 30 minutes, everybody in this hall can, definitely give 30 minutes for yourself. There are a whole lot of exercises also, like walk at home exercises are there, like how work from home. If you look at exercises where you can just type walk at home, you will get a whole lot of exercises. How do we stand in the same place and do the exercises? So that's a must. So that's what we are learning. Everything is a process where we are going again towards the healthier genes. Probably all this is going to become a rewiring, as you said, in the neural pathway. It's actually rewiring all our brains to think and eat healthy.
Yes. and this session has given us the much needed push for us to go ahead and start our diet system. In fact, on
Correct.
behalf of our entire professional team, I thank you for coming on board and giving us this wonderful session. One last question coming up before we wrap this session. So, as a
Right.
professional, how to challenge our body and mind, and how to restart our diets?
Yes. So how to, the answer is already I've given you. It's for you to decide, be the 5%. Okay, you're all in the 5% right now because you're already here. So be the 5% to think about eating right. It's not alone in the thought process. Take it as a challenge. So I can give you a very simple example. Take a 7-day challenge. I'm not giving you a yearly challenge or a 3-month challenge or a 1-month challenge. Take a 7-day challenge to change your habit. So how do you change your habit? Think about it. Think of any number which you like. It may be 7, it can be 9, it can be 10, any number. So think that from tomorrow, I'm going to take 7 glasses of water a day. From tomorrow, I'm going to take 7 good nutrients, 7 immunonutrients. Or the next 7 days, I'm going to note down by cheat diary or the 7 foods which are harmful for me, what I am taking. So these kind of you need to train yourself to challenge yourself. To challenge yourself, you need to make a goal for which you need to make a planner for yourself. So a simple 7-day habit can really create a lot of change, wherein after 7 days you will feel that these 7 days are very, very precious days of your life, basically. So after which you will understand that the diet made such a great role, great change in your impact in your health. So after 7 days, it's going to become a habit. So slowly, slowly, once you increase to the next 7 days and then the next 7 days, so the 21-day habit is very, very important for you to create a new habit. So this is how you create a challenge within yourself.
Yes, actually, this is also, I am remembered one of the old sayings, Padakka Vadakkam. So once if we start practicing, it becomes our habit.
Yes, yes, yes. Practice makes a man perfect. So everything is a challenge. Take it as a challenge because we never thought that we would be sitting at home and, working, or we never thought that we are going to have so many webinars sitting at home from home itself, right? So all this, we've taken it as a challenge. We have taken it as a part of our life. So let's just work on this thing also, which is the most important aspect to protect your health. So if you're going to miss this, I'm sure that your health is going to be at stake. So basically, at the end, I would simply give you a one-liner or a take-home message, which I would say that focus on setting your goals right, health goals. So make your health goals. As I told you at the end of the session, each of you can even reply to the team by saying what are the health goals that you have thought of. You can send us the feedback. You can tell that after the session that these are the things that we feel that we need to actually improve on ourselves. Make 5 points at least about yourself and start working on it. And when you feel that the mind comes in between and says that it's not possible, make sure that that happens. So that is how we change our perspective towards health. The moment we change our perspective, everything changes. So the take home message is simple, nothing but create a goal, unlock your goal. That's the only take home message that I would want to give you today. And stay safe and stay healthy, all of you. Anything more, Anand? Any other interactions we have, or are we ending the
Yeah.
session?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ambikaji, for this wonderful session. Actually, so being a thorough professional yourself, you have given us a proper guidance as to how one professional can actually unlock his or her diet goals. In fact, during this pandemic, the webinars are this. In fact, every day is flooded with webinars. In fact, there are a lot of technical sessions that are happening, legal technical sessions where we confine ourselves to one particular topic, but we wanted to do something different, and we actually wanted to show our participants a way ahead how to actually unlock the potential of the diet goals. So we went ahead and approached you, and without even considering a second thought, you readily accepted our invitation. and we wholeheartedly thank you for that gesture. And this is a, what do you call, a life changing session which we have attended here, because we have been thoroughly what do you call, uh, impressed by the number of takeaways which you have given, and I am sure all our participants would definitely ponder over the points which you have discussed today and start setting their goals, and also will approach you with their results. So, for the benefit of our participants, I have left the website of our special speaker. You can visit her website, and if you have any doubts, you can connect with her. And with this, we actually, yeah, yes,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
ma'am. Your final words, yeah, please.
Yes, yes, not an issue. So thank you so much. Thanks, wonderful audience. We had very good interaction, and I'm sure that all of you have benefited with this session. And I'm sure that I could do something different from what you were thinking before 6 p.m. Right? So I would definitely wish you all to stay safe, stay healthy, and take care of your immune system more than any other system in your body right now. So thank you all. Thank you once again. Thank you so much, AP Legal Chambers, for giving me this opportunity to talk to this audience of, who are legal professionals. It's my privilege. I'm very happy that I'm a part of AP Legal Chambers, and I was able to give them some guidelines about this. So thank you very much. Anytime if you have any queries regarding diet, you could definitely ping in and find out what the habits need to be changed. Thank you so much, Anand. Thank you, team AP Legal Chambers.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. We salute the Corona warriors, and it is indeed a privilege to have you on board. And with this, it is Anand signing off on behalf of AP Legal Chambers and on my personal behalf. Thank you, take care, and have a wonderful week.
Thank you.